No, I know.
Stop. Listen, we're going to do that again. We can do this without the microphone. Everybody else. Right? 1, 2, 3. That's good. That's good. That's good. One more time now, okay? 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Sorry. 1, 2, 3. Sorry.
Jeff, you're there with the Country Drama Podcast, and just to give us a couple seconds of pictures being taken, but I'm here with Snake Walker, a martial arts instructor, and we're going to go into a little bit of your background.
All right, so thank you so much. We're still going. This should be the start of the faster show. Please avoid the lava back there. Right up here is where the vendors are.
Before I get to that,
for now on, we're doing the session 1 behind this curtain, which you're doing here
at Kung Fu and Karate Expo 16.
Sure, we're here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and I was invited to just talk about what I teach outside of the traditional martial arts, which I love every type of martial art out there. Because my background, I'm a member of the Lipan Apache tribe of Texas, so there's 4 regional Apache tribes. The Lipan Apaches are the main ones that cover the southern part of Texas all the way down to the northern part of Mexico. Each tribe, whether there's a regional tribe, Apache would be like the big umbrella, right? And then there's 4 regional Apache tribes, because you got the Hickory Apaches and Escalera Apaches, Chiricahuas, and San Carlos, White Mountains, all this stuff like that. But of the 4, everything kind of falls under that. And then each of the regional tribes, doesn't matter what tribe you're in, you have like your clan and your band, kind of like you got your last name, which is kind of like the big picture that breaks down to your cousins and all that, and then your immediate family. So Heron Warrior Clan, Sun Honor Band, those are the subsects of those are the family lines that I am under the Lipan Apache tribe of Texas. So it's in my research, since I grew up in an environment where I was able to have access to some of the history of the Apaches, specifically the Lipan. I got fascinated with it and got so involved with it that I wanted to meet other Apache tribes, learn about what they have in their family history that was passed down relating to stories of their battles, their raids, their tactics, stuff that was one-on-one fighting as well as multiple group fightings. Some were successful, some weren't. And what I did is figured out kind of if there's correlation, if some of the other Apache tribes had similar stories, similar battle tactics, and they actually did. Some of the stories were a little bit modified, but what we do is we teach, we're a storytelling community, everything's oral history. So what we do is, since they're little kids, as soon as they sit around the table, story time is teaching Apache culture stories that are pretty universal across the planet. Unbeknownst to the child is they're actually learning techniques and styles and names of kind of approaches to fighting and hunting and fishing and treating your fellow human being. So they're hearing it as stories, but they're in their subconscious. They're actually learning how we're going to apply it in a battle tactic application.
Yeah, so that was one of the interesting things about your demonstration. You were talking about sitting in a circle with the children and teaching them drumming, which was actually taught them hand conditioning for later in life. Is that part of the way that was taught as for that Apache martial art?
It is. And like I was saying earlier with the audience, is the drum's known as the heartbeat. So if we say, grab your heartbeat, we know we're talking about the drum. We're talking about them hitting it on the back of the hand as opposed to the side, because they need to have those early skills, those muscle memories to not have their hands forward like a Muay Thai fighter. Because a Muay Thai fighter is not going to fight in the ring with weapons, right? Versus an Apache, as they get at some point in their life, they're going to deal with people with blunt objects or edge weapons, and we want them out of that habit of turning the palm arteries and not being afraid to get smacked in the back of the hand.
Sorry, 1 second. The mics are really loud, so I apologize if the audio is not coming through. But the demonstration that you presented also had weapons. You had the axe, and I believe was it a dagger?
Yeah. So the weapons of the Apaches and the programs that I teach are set up in courses. It's not like a universal martial art. It's not labeled as step one and this number angle and all that. It's just storytelling and it's tactics that work, and we're training multiple generations with the tomahawk, like you said earlier, the axe, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. A long axe or a short tomahawk, doesn't really matter at all, or a hatchet. And then the war club, and there's variations of the war club. Some of them were just the broken butt stock of a rifle that was modified into a long weapon. The common ones with the Apaches were the jawbones of horses and donkeys that were just kind of gripped and do a lot of damage to the skull. Another one type of war club is just basically a shaft or a stick with a rock that's kind of wrapped around in leather, and a lot of times they'll have like a pivot on its connector, so it gives it what we call a snapping turtle effect. So just like a snapping turtle, will snap quickly and get it, that ball will like rattle and snap, so you have the wrist type of motion on it as well. A lot of the weapons will have pieces of the horse's hair, and those are also used as distractions also, like throwing feathers in somebody's eyes. And then we also do, of course, the bow and arrow. There's a way of throwing rocks, and rock throwing skill set that we use, including the slingshot. And then there's a few other stuff with the spear or the lance.
Yeah, so is the Apache battle tactics and all that, is it an organized system in any way, or is it just pulling things from myth and storytelling?
Yeah, so the latter. So think of it as if you went to college and you took a university course on Asian history and culture, and you're learning about, the dress apparels and the do's and don'ts and the courtesies and customs, and you also start learning about some of their battles and some of their shields that they use, and you might learn about Genghis Khan a little bit and that type of thing. That's what I've done. And so what I've done, I'm the only person, I've been teaching it since 1995. I turned 51 years old this year, so I've been around for a while. I would just teach it pretty much with family members and with close friends, and then I made sure I got permission from my tribe, specifically the Lipan Apaches, to say, hey, I want to start teaching it past this and putting it, because YouTube videos are out there now and all that stuff, and I got permission from there. And then we went beyond that because I had friends with other cultures that had something to offer. And so I'm the only person that, to my knowledge, that's been around to multiple tribes to collaborate with their battle tactics that they have in their storytelling, their families, their tribes. Our tribe, the Lipan Apaches, fought the Comanches consistently. The Hickory Apaches fought the Zuni. The White Mountain Apaches that fought, some of their cousins in the Navajo tribes. And there's so many different battle tactics because the enemies that were fighting were different. And then you had the invaders from France and Dutch and Italy come over, and then they had to adapt to theirs. But the Apaches also were very adaptive with learning how to ride horses very quickly and becoming the top horse riders, being great at running on foot, barefoot, over 50 miles a day. They were great at learning how to use the weapons that were brought over from the invaders and use them, just like they did with other tribes. They would basically defeat a tribe, take their weapons, and modify it to their use.
So that was one thing that I did want to ask. You have to get permission from a lot of these other tribes to kind of share their battle tactics, because I know some cultures are very protective of what they develop and bring up within their own tribes and cultures. So
yeah, it's a good question. And so I'm just speaking for my tribe, because a lot of people will ask me questions, what do the natives do?
Hello, everyone.
I don't know. It's like going to the Philippines. You've got hundreds of islands, and every island has a different type of blade, a different length, a different culture, a different language, different dialect. So I can only speak for my Apache, and I just wanted to be respectful to my culture and not feel that I'm being egotistical or taking it as it's not my art, it's nothing I put together. I'm just retelling history and telling them this is how people can memorize it, and this is stuff that worked in real life.
Now, you're also an instructor of Jeet Kune Do and a few other martial arts, is that right?
I am. So Jeet Kune Do would be the umbrella of the arts. It is a legitimate martial arts, but it takes pieces from Savate Boxe Francais, French kickboxing with the shoes on. So I got individually ranked as an instructor in Savate Boxe Francais, got my silver glove, and then they incorporate the weapons. Sifu Dan Inosanto, being Filipino, he really had a passion for the Filipino art, being the reflection of the weapons art for that application of the self-defense of Jeet Kune Do. So I became a guru instructor in fourth degree black belt now in the Filipino martial arts called the extreme Arnis concept, specifically the combat Arnis. And then the Muay Thai, I competed as a professional kickboxer, American kickboxing and Muay Thai in Sabat for over about 10, 11 years. So I got to my high level crew in that as well and became an instructor in Muay Thai. And this was all pushed through the influence through Dan Asano as my mentor, because that's exactly what he wanted his students to do. And then, of course, the Gung Fu, we had to have that foundation, which is good to come from kids. And I think I had the influence strongly with how I was taught it with the Hungar as well, kind of adding into it the Dark from another instructor. So I have a fourth degree black sash in that as well. So and then they added, when I first started taking classes at the Dan Asano Academy, it was shoot fighting for the ground stuff, boxing and ground fighting. And then later on, it became more of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I got the purple stripe in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then I got the basic instructions for men's shoot fighting. So, but this is like I said, I'll be 51 this year, so I've been doing it since I was a little boy.
Cool.
But yeah, I did train originally at Dan Asano School, and then I also did through James Lee's affiliate, through Gary Dill, and also through Talking Couture and Andy through the affiliation to get the idea of how Jiu-Jitsu kind of had different stages to learn it more thoroughly.
That's interesting to me because I have been studying Kali myself. I've only started really, so I'm completely new to it, but I'm Filipino, so it was important for me to learn a little bit of the Filipino martial arts. Fascinating martial art, so many applicable techniques there. But in general, what was it about martial arts that brought you to it in the first place?
I think my story is nothing really unique, although I think a lot of people think it's unique. Hey, I'm a little skinny kid. I'm being bullied. I'm a poor kid on top of that in an upper middle class area, going to upper middle class school. And it's always about the clothes and making fun of your poor shoes and the crappy stuff. Literally, I had holes in my pants and soles in my shoe would fall apart. And there wasn't any confidence. There wasn't self-confidence, and I was dumb. To be honest, I wasn't disciplined at that point. So my grades were terrible. I was not a quick learner, and the bullying didn't help at all. And the physical bullying later on. And so I just had to make a decision. Martial arts, that it was kung fu theater every Saturday night, and then it was the neighbors teaching a little what they did in Taekwondo class. And then eventually, my parents could afford a little bit of the rec center, the karate. So the foundation was the karate, originally American karate, and then it became kung fu. And then as soon as I got a job in high school, I said, I'm just going to do it, and I never stopped.
Cool, very cool. Who would you cite as influences for you in martial arts?
So obviously, everybody has to say Bruce Lee, because on the cinema he got me excited. I would say one of my all-time favorite movies is Master of the Flying Guillotine. That was kind of the prequel to The Quest and the Dragon and all that, different martial arts fighting each other. That was my introduction to the Muay Thai fighter, as well as weapons, kung fu, and they had everybody in that way. So that's just, I learned what I could from there, and then as I was like the smallest or second smallest kid in the class, and I said, that's not good either. Literally I prayed to God, I'm like, God, I want to grow taller than my brothers and sisters. I want to be able to be passionate about my martial art and discipline, and it's what helped me want to join more disciplined things like the military, which I did for 20 years as reservist and active.
And then final question, where can my audience find out about your teachings, your schools, and tell us where they can get a hold of you?
Sure, snakeblocker.org, not .com.org. The .com one's an old one that I need to renew. So that'll have all the basic information about my contact information. I'll talk about, credit goes where credit's due. So I have a lot of information about my family lineage, martial arts. So I didn't do it on my own. I learned something from everybody. I don't always agree 100% with an instructors how they run their life. But as a teacher, I learn from all of them, and I take the good from them. And like Bruce Lee said, we take it all as much as we can, but we absorb it like an empty cup, and then we decipher what's going to work for my body style, for my flexibility, for my age, for my joint injuries, and that's how it should be, and that's how I teach my students.
Awesome. Snake, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with me. Best of luck with the rest of the expo. Best of luck with your instruction, and I hope to hear more from you sooner rather than later. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you get a chance, guys out there, go on Doomsday Prepper Season 2. I was on the in the Hurt Locker episode, and then you'll also see me doing a lot of the Apache stuff on Apaches versus Gladiator, which was Season 1, Episode 1 of Deadliest Warrior. And then there's a few other things out there you can see on